I just wrapped up a call with a new friend of mine who is a shaman, and he is helping his clients, particularly men, through their own inner healing journey. And something that we spoke about that we resonated so deeply with was about food, because we both had a very estranged relationship with food. And what I thought was so powerful that he mentioned about food and the spiritual connection that there is we actually go through a process. It's like a maturity process. This guy's in tech, so he was speaking some tech language and how he understood the maturation of our relationship with food. And I never thought of this, but it made so much sense, right? Initially, we think about food as just putting something in our mouths and into our body so we can satiate our hunger, right? And eventually, we realize that there is a little bit more to it. So we go through these different processes of awakening to what food actually is and how we are intended to consume it and relate with it, right? Ultimately, we get to the point where we believe that food is medicine, right? We're sick, we need to heal, and so we take food as medicine. And that's where a lot of people are currently. But he added another layer to this. And the layer that he added to is food as sacred. Food as sacred. Food is sacred. And food is totally sacred, right? Just like our sensuality and our sexuality and sensuality, food is a sacred relationship. Understanding where the food was cultivated, where it was grown, who harvested it, the energy that was in that process alone. But then you have the process of getting that food to wherever the food is ultimately purchased, right? And how is that food handled in that transition? How is that food handled, in between the time of it being grown and harvested and sold to you taking it, you buying it from the grocery store, you buying it from the market, and then you take it home with you. And then how is that food cared for? And then ultimately, how is that food prepared? And did you just gobble it down, or did you just toss it in a microwave, or did you actually go through a ritualistic process preparing the food? Did you have a deep connection with the food? Did you connect with the intelligence, with the information of that food? And then how you consume the food, how you combine those foods with other foods that can either hinder or help your digestive process. And ultimately, this is an effect on our spirit, right? Because our spirit is light and we are a light force, and food is light. And in the shamanistic world, they view food as light because they understand that we are light beings. And so this was such a beautiful awareness that I was able to tap into and learn. And ultimately, we don't understand everything about everything, but we continue to evolve and grow. And we continue to learn from others. And we get to have that insight into other people's consciousness of things that we weren't aware of. And it's so fun and fascinating to tap into that. And I think it is so insightful to view our relationship with food as a maturation process. Because ultimately where I started, and even where he started, we were thinking about the body. And that's where a lot of people start. We think about, we need to just fuel our body, right? We need to fuel it with food. We need to fuel it with energy. But then ultimately we begin to understand as we go through this maturation process, this evolution of awakening, that food is more than just sustenance. It is a vehicle of information. It is a light force of energy that fuels our energy. It is a connection to everything that exists. Everything is interconnected in this world, and we get to connect with the world through our food. We connect with our sensuality and our sexuality through food, right? I have chocolate that I got from Whole Foods, and this is actually a chocolate that I really enjoy, Taza chocolate, and I love that it is, it's just cacao and raw cane sugar, and I'm not a huge fan of sugar, right? But I love the process that they go through in stone grinding the cacao and making this chocolate that is very indigenous to the culture. And so eating is not just a process, but it's a ritual. And when we treat it as such, our bodies get to receive that gift, that blessing, that experience, right? It eases our digestion. It connects us with the information and the intelligence. And I sat here breaking up my chocolate, eating it in little bits and enjoying it outside in the sun and letting the information, the experience guide me through. And I realized that food really is a sensual experience. You know, the way that our tongue moves around the piece of chocolate as we're allowing it to melt in our mouths, and the way that it crushes itself in between our teeth, like it it's so cool. And when we sit with our food and we get to actually enjoy it, right? We go into a different dimension, but we also are present. And a lot of people are not present. They are elsewhere. You know, they play music in the background while they're eating, or they'll play the television, or they'll watch the television, or they'll have chaos going on around them. And they don't actually get to sit and enjoy their meal. And it's some experience that I believe that many people are missing out on. And so when we get to the point of viewing food as sacred, we treat it as such. Let me know your thoughts on this.